Hi, you guys. So I wanted to come on and to talk about Ari Lennox posting about a Martin episode. I guess she was watching some old Martin, and I guess he said something about BDBs. Now, as the show went on, like in fairness to that show and the producers and writers, Martin, they stopped kind of using that. As because that was a real conversation in real time when the show was on the air. People started to feel uncomfortable about him pointing out that the hair rolling up. But I want to say this: we as young black children growing up in a certain time, we made fun of each other like that. I even would say things about myself, like when my hair would snap back, when my press would wear out. We would, in the South, we would say cuckabugs, or you would say BDBs, right? So that's not something that Martin created and he's trying to demean her. That was a black thing, that it was kind of a thing that we said to each other amongst ourselves about our hair snapping back. And I think he put that on that show. And when you are dealing with people who don't come from a certain era, it's not going to age well. And when you're dealing with people who don't come from our culture, it's not going to sit well, right? And I don't think we always thought about things like that, right? And so I guess, I don't know how this is new to her, but she feels like she said she fell away about him talking about Pam. However, Pam was talking about him as well. And I think Martin was playing on, once again, our childhood, us watching Fred and Aunt Esther going at it, right? And so I think that he kind of took from that and put that in the show, that he would go into it with someone on cast, and it was going to be his girlfriend's friend. Because Fred was going into it with Aunt Esther, but he was married to Aunt Esther's sister, right? So, so I don't really think people think too deep into these things, but I just feel like he was doing that as paying homage to Red Fox and to LaWanna Page. Because they went back and forth on Sanford and Son, and you can go to those episodes and you will see that. However, when you think about it, and I think the girl Chrissy, who's here on YouTube, she kind of brings this up a lot. A lot of times when these women are treated this way, they are dark skinned, and I don't know if that is by. I think for Sanford and Son and for Martin, it was coincident. I think it is coincidental. I think that Aunt Esther was picked for that show. Phil Pam was selected as well, because people also have to remember that Tashina is Tisha's real best friend. And so I'm sure she spoke up for her friend to do that show. And I think that it just happened that way. However, when you're a dark-skinned person watching that, you're thinking like, dang, they're always jumping on the dark-skinned girl. And I don't think people thought about that. That's what I'm saying. I don't think people were really thinking about the things that we were doing in a way in which it would affect other people. And so, yeah, like I said, and then too, I do feel like there is colorism. I'm not going to sit here and say that I don't feel like colorism don't exist, because I do think that colorism exists, but I think people have to understand why it exists and the conditioning in which black people were under, right, to see themselves a certain way and to feel a certain way about themselves. When you have people putting you in a human zoo, you have people making fun of you being dark skinned or your hair being different from theirs. And so that will condition the mind to make people feel like they're less than, to explain how to deal with colorism. You understand? And so, I don't know. Let me know what y'all think about what she had to say. And then there was the whole conversation about Candy's daughter, Riley. She was on a show, I believe it's called Next Generation, Next Gen, and it's on Bravo as well. And Kim Zolciak's daughter was on there as well. And I guess there was an episode where Candy said that Riley didn't put any juice and berries in her hair. I guess she felt like her daughter's hair looked a little dry or what have you. And so some people are taking offense to that as well. And so it's just interesting, I guess, coming from our generation. Like I said, when we took a lot of stuff said to us And some of it we just took as jokes. You know, we didn't take it serious, but everything today, it seems like every little thing somebody says, people take it as if you're demeaning that person. And so it's very different today than it was when we were kids growing up, right? Because we did watch Fred and Aunt Esther go back and forth, right? And she was holding her own. You understand? People were repeating a lot of the stuff she was saying, like calling him a fish-eye food and watch it, sucker, right? So, I mean, she was holding her own with Fred, and so we didn't see it as something to look as if he was demeaning her. Like I said, he was married to her sister, Elizabeth. So I don't know. You guys can let me know what you think about what I'm saying and what you think about what Ari Lennox had to say, because I am from a different generation. This generation is a little bit more sensitive, but maybe they are because they were more sheltered from certain things than what we were. And so the way I see certain things and the things that I know is very different from what young people today are going to see and the things that they know. And so maybe that's the disconnect in the way we deal with things. But yeah, it was a conversation about him constantly bringing up her hair in real time on Martin. And you didn't hear it anymore. After a while, you didn't hear him reference her hair anymore, right? Or her looks for that matter. You just didn't hear the insults like that. And as far as Candy, that's Candy's child. If she felt like that her daughter needed to maybe spruce up her hair or comb her hair, I mean, she has a right. She pushed the child in the world. She could tell her whatever she wanted to tell her. That's her child. And I'm sure Riley understood that her mother was just trying to say, look, you know how these people are. They're going to talk about you. Let me tell you, go on and check your hair. Right? I would not have taken that as her trying to demean her own child. I don't really know what y'all trying to say with that. I think Riley looks really nice in her natural state. She embraced her natural self, as well as where, you know, if she want to wear wigs or braids or whatever, like, it's okay. It's okay. And it's okay for her to embrace who she is and her natural state of her hair as well. I don't know what people were looking at when they thought, or what they thought Candy was trying to do with that. You guys can let me know what you think about both conversations in the comments, and I'll see you guys in the next video.